Welcome to Strategy Simplified. With a new year, there's always an opportunity for you to grow, and we hope that you'll choose to grow as a leader by developing your executive presence. Executive presence is the secret sauce that all successful professionals possess, and at its core, it's the ability to inspire confidence from others, leaders, peers, and team members. Confidence in what? Well, your competence, character, and vision. In this episode, we'll further define executive presence and share 5 tips to developing it. If you're looking to make 2023 the year you take your professional influence to the next level, then please stick with us through this Strategy Simplified brief and hear more not only about these topics, but how to enroll in the Executive Presence Intensive that's happening in a few short weeks on January 16th. So what is executive presence and how do you get it? One framework I like here is the 7 C's of executive presence. That's connection, composure, confidence, charisma, clarity, credibility, and conciseness. Now, connection. Let's think about the antithesis to that, right? Disconnected. One with executive presence is not disconnected from the work and is not disconnected from others. There's a relatability, there's a humanness there, and some type of a connection point that you're able to establish. Composure. Again, let's look at the antithesis to that. Public outbursts of frustration or anger, that's not being composed. People gravitate towards calm leaders, especially in times of crisis. And being composed can be aligned with knowing that there's a solution for every problem. Not feeling like you crumble at the first sign of either frustration or failure. Confidence. We can think about this as a glass half full type attitude as well, a can do it spirit. It's what people on your team, people working for you really want to hear and see. This doesn't need to be, again, an overly aggressive or outward confidence. But it can be a still, quiet confidence, an assuredness, if you will. Charisma. There are real tactics and skills to be able to exhibit and grow your charisma. Make sure you're maintaining eye contact, you're smiling, you're giving everyone in the room the attention that you would give to the VIPs, to a CEO. Clarity. Speaking at the right pace and being sure that you're understood by those that you're communicating to, this is important. Boiling down complex language into, 8th grade English is important. Being able to be heard and have your information digested by others is another hallmark of executive presence.
Hey, Strategy Simplified. Are you looking to develop your executive presence this year? Then enroll in the Executive Presence Intensive taking place on January 16th, 2023 from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern or 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific. The intensive is a live training session led by Stephanie, and it's broken up into 3 parts. The first is executive communication, because without being able to concisely communicate ideas to gain buy-in, you'll have a difficult time progressing in your career, especially at more senior levels. The second is perception, because executive presence isn't just about what you communicate, but how. The third part is application. We'll practice what we're learning through live exercises in the session. We'll also include plenty of time for Q&A so you can get all your questions answered in a small group format. Again, the Executive Presence Intensive happens January 16th, 2023 from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Are you ready to level up your career? Learn more about the intensive and reserve your seat at the link in the show notes. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
Credibility. People need to believe you when you speak. If you say things out of turn, if you aren't able to back up your answers, if you extrapolate and hypothesize too much and fall victim to confirmation bias, then ultimately you're not credible. And even if you put all these other things together, you're not truly going to have that executive presence. And finally, conciseness. The ability, when you need to boil down your main message into a sticky headline, to be able to be very clear, crisp, and concise, filtering and curating towards your main message and your main point. That's an expected skill at more senior levels of any organization and a very important component part of executive presence. The pyramid principle is a great tool to help you talk in an answer-first, top-down, evidence-based way and can help in skill building in this area. Now, what are some of the other ways that you can improve your executive presence? Obviously, developing your communication skills, learning to be more concise and brief, utilization of the pyramid principle, that's a great one. I'll give you 4 more. Listening well. Recognizing and realizing that executive presence is not all about an offensive strategy where you're trying to make sure that your point of view is coming across clearly and loudly at all times. Instead, it's about being able to share the microphone, to be able to listen well, to be able to be an active listener, respond to others, to be able to help other people feel heard and ask clarifying questions to help you get there. Also, you can put yourself in more uncomfortable situations. Learning how to engage different types of stakeholders or how to deliver different kinds of messaging. It can feel easier to always be the one to deliver the positive message. But what about when you need to give feedback to others? What about when you need to critique and fix an error or a mistake? Even in those situations, you've got to maintain your calm. You've got to maintain your credibility. You've got to be concise. You got to deliver all those 7 C's we just went through. So give yourself the opportunity to get more at-bats at it. Give yourself repetitions. Also, you want to be prepared. The success of many interactions is determined in large part before you enter the room. You've got to know the background, the context, the situational history. Executive leaders often know and speak the numbers. When we look across these 7 C's, being able to deliver that concise message with precision and credibility and composure, getting towards the heart of the matter, quantifying your response and your input into the conversation, that often leads into a leadership role, even within a single conversation, and can help improve your executive presence overall. And finally, here on our list of 5, be self-aware. You need to know how you're coming across to others to be able to improve in those areas. So just for self-reflection, you can pay attention to how different kinds of people interpret your tone and body language. Also, you can try to get this feedback from others. Being willing to ask for this type of feedback is vulnerable, yet can go a long way in terms of you improving your executive presence. Now, I started this list with developing your communication skills and ended this list with being self-aware and getting feedback. And I think there's no better way to do those things than to join our upcoming Executive Presence Intensive, where we're going to take some of these different concepts and we're going to apply them. We're going to do some additional teaching and we're going to first get ourselves in the right mindset around executive presence. We're going to certainly look at the skills that are necessary to be concise and communicate in this way. And also, we're going to take a look at the performative aspect of this. Some of these skills around charisma and even confidence can be thought of as performative in nature. We want to acknowledge that and embrace that and think about how that's applied in other job roles and other industries and how we can learn and take those best practices and apply them internally in our own world. So I hope you'll join us for that upcoming session on Monday, January 16th, where we'll dive in further. Thanks for joining us today. I hope that you won't miss this opportunity to join us on Monday, January 16th for the Executive Presence Intensive. We're going to be running it live from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern. But even if you're not able to join us live, your payment towards the intensive will get you lifetime access to the recording. We're limiting seats for this session so that we can do live drills and breakout rooms during the session, and also give you the opportunity to get some feedback on your executive presence one-on-one after the session. So make sure to grab your seat sooner rather than later, and check out the link in the show notes to learn more. Hope you've enjoyed this Strategy Simplified brief, and we'll see you next time.